in November 2022, when OpenAI launched ChatGPT, the entire world is taken by storm. After that, being the National University of Singapore, NUS, we are always very eager to explore and see what initiatives we could take up. So there are three pillars we embark on: AI and research and opportunities, AI for all the operational matters, but most important, being a university, how AI can reshape teaching and learning.
If you could redesign university from scratch today, would it look anything like what we currently have? Today, we'll explore what it actually takes to build an environment where students don't just learn, but start thinking and acting like entrepreneurs. Welcome to another episode of School to Startup, brought to you by Tracxn, a private market intelligence platform that's been supporting the global university ecosystem for over 12 years. Through our university partnerships, we work with institutions driving innovation and entrepreneurship, and this series highlights the academic leaders making that happen. I'm Harish, your host today, and joining us is Dr. Heng, Associate Professor at National University of Singapore, is also Chair of the NUS Teaching Academy and the College Master of Acacia College. Dr. Heng, welcome to the show.
Hi, Harish. Oh, hi, everyone.
Great. Let me start with something a bit different. What's the most non-linear decision you made in your career that somehow led you here?
Oh, in fact, my entire life story is very non-linear. Yeah, I mean, like typical Asian students. Yeah, I mean, when we grew up, I mean, we did well academically, and many parents would expect us to go into medicine and law. So I actually did triple sciences, biology, physics, chemistry, and mathematics all the way till I'm 18 years old. And then, of course, in Singapore, the military is mandatory. I took a leap of faith after that and actually applied to computer science for my first degree. After that, I actually went into the industry. I was with the Singapore Trade Development Board. Now it is known as Enterprise Singapore, and I have lots of interesting business chats, overseas business trips, leading delegations overseas. And after that, then I actually returned to Stanford University to do my PhD before returning to Singapore, my alma mater, to take an academic position. Yeah.
Interesting. Let's talk more about Acacia College today. How does the college vision influence the learning experience and opportunities provided to the students?
Oh, it's interesting. So we backtrack time slightly. In November 2022, when OpenAI launched ChatGPT, the entire world is taken by storm. After that, being the National University of Singapore, NUS, we are always very eager to explore and see what initiatives we could take up. So there are three pillars we embark on: AI and research and opportunities, AI for all the operational matters, but most important, being a university, how AI can reshape teaching and learning. In fact, I was the chair of the NUS Teaching Academy during then, and I have actually gone to different faculty and departments to actually encourage the strong use of generative AI and to integrate that into the teaching. Then, in 2024, we thought, hey, given the advance of technology and AI, regardless of how the world feels about it, let's be honest, technology and AI is here to stay. So why not we embrace it and start a college that really takes advantage of artificial intelligences. But actually, we're very careful to note one thing. If you look at our focus, we explicitly mention artificial and human intelligences because we think the two are very intertwined and they shouldn't be separated. And guess what is our motto? Our motto is action, imagination. Starting with the AI.
Yeah.
Not only do they rhyme, but actually it has a very deep meaning. So let me explain why action imagination. Um, all our students are fresh into the university, so about 18 years of growing up and learning, they have lots of creative ideas and things that they want to do to change the world, impact the world. So we thought action means don't just talk about it, don't just learn about it theoretically, put that into practice or translate dreams into reality. And then, however, you should imagine. So what we are trying to encourage is not merely the solving of problems now, recently, what the world is facing, but to anticipate in advance, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, what are some potential issues that may pop up, and imagine and try to address them in advance so as to mitigate them from surfacing. But it is actually quite cyclical if you think about it. You don't just imagine what will happen or imagine what you can do, but then you again put it into action. So I thought it's very cyclical in that sense. Action, imagination, back to action, imagination. And I also want to add this part about we do not want just we do not want AI or technology alone to solve problems, but we strongly believe that technology and AI can actually deepens understanding, foster connections, and elevate the human spirit. So it is not technology alone that bring us ahead, but together with the shared humanity that will make true progress. So that's how our vision is about Acacia College and the future of technology, AI, and most important, humanity.
Amazing. So, if I were a student walking into Acacia on day one, what's something I would experience there that I probably wouldn't experience anywhere else?
How should I put it? This is a good question. Let me phrase it the other way. Actually, let me start with something that is interesting. Okay. There are actually a lot of thoughts given to the entire university town curriculum program. So let me backtrack slightly. So in the National University of Singapore, NUS, we have a university town. We call it the U Town. And in the U Town, we have this residential college that has this UTCP program, U Town Curriculum Program. So there are a lot of thoughts given to it. In what sense? Let me explain. First of all the courses we try to implement are actually interdisciplinary in nature. Why? Because actually, in this real world, a lot of problems, issues that we confront are more complex than is being taught in any single subject. And often, the successful either implementation or even adoption of all these solutions often take into many perspectives, be it psychologically, sociologically, or behaviorally, or even economically. So, with that in mind, it was actually specially designed in this sense. Okay, first of all, we have students not only from computing and engineering, but also from arts and social sciences, and even from professions such as medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, and the law. And we also have students from the Yong-Siew Conservatory of Music. We believe that moving forward, regardless of the discipline, nearly every industry actually require technology and AI to propel itself forward. So with that in mind, the first thing that we have is we ensure that the entire composition of students are multidisciplinary in nature. And later we can talk about the courses. So likewise, I was mentioning the courses are just as interdisciplinary. In what sense? So in the case of college, they stay with us for 2 years. For the first year, we call it the junior seminars. In the second year, the senior seminars. In the first year, I thought it's important to let them know what exactly technology or AI can do and what exactly defines human. So we call the courses AI versus human. But as I've alluded to earlier on, AI and technology is here to stay. So we call it the senior seminars, AI and human. And not only that, actually acronym 5 pillars LIKES, likes, just like the Facebook likes. Why? I hope that after taking on the courses, students will love them. So what do they encompass? So L stands for living and leisure. So we have things like creative AI, which talks about how technology and AI is used not only in literary arts, but all the way to visual arts, and even applied arts. So literary arts in the sense of poetry, prose essays, to visual arts such as paintings or drawings to sculpture, or even or performing arts such as the dance, the music, theater, films, and all the way to applied arts such as fashion and architecture. They all love and needs technology and AI. And then we have sports, we call it competitive AI, sports and games, how technology and AI changes and transforms it with big data. And finally, companion AI, which talks about how AI or robots can help the young, the elderly, as well as the disabled. So L stands for everything that's associated with living. I stands for innovation. So if you think about it, be it in the financial technology, fintech, or in the healthcare and medical sector, well, AI and technology will come into play. So in these courses, we actually try to we actually enlighten students about what are the antecedents or the catalysts and what are all the different things that help um, encourage entrepreneurship. Maybe later, sorry, maybe you have to edit this slightly. In fact, yeah, sorry, I really apologize. I really want to share that because of your startup thing, I even want to mention that we actually literally have a course called Global AI Innovations in Singapore Entrepreneur Landscape, where we literally expose students to all the case studies of firms, technological firms that have made it very successful, all the lessons learned, well, so that they can better understand that is it only technical? Do they survive and thrive just based on technical advantages, or there's more to it? As I've mentioned, maybe there are psychological aspects, maybe there are sociological, behavioral, or even ethical and legal aspects that govern the success or the wide adoption of these brands and new innovations. K stands for know-how. So, of course, you have to teach them about generative AI, the text, the image, and the video version, as well as even the programming of AI. And of course, how we measure the performance of AI as well. Regardless of the fact that it seems like we've covered everything, right? Living, innovation, and industry, know-how. There is always this thing called serendipity. So E stands for exploration. Well, regardless of what we have covered in living, innovation, and know-how, we always think that there are fields, there are possibilities that suddenly someone will think about using technology and AI, maybe in archaeology, no, things that you may not think about. And of course, with robots, the society, the entire world will be transformed. So we are looking at that under exploration. And like all technical classes, we will always end with susceptibility. So we talk about ethics, the legal issues, and the complex issues, especially when you have to enforce them across borders, not just within the country, but nowadays across borders as well. How does the legislation change? So we also talk about legislation and governance. So in essence, likes are all our senior seminars modules. So yeah. So maybe I backtrack slightly to your earlier question. What are all the things that we have designed? Please feel free to read and dig in any order. So at first I was talking about the composition of the students. So apart from the fact that they all come from all disciplines, computing, engineering, arts and social sciences, medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, law, and even music, the Yongsuto Conservatory of Music. Guess what? To the surprise of people, it was intentionally designed such that we had equal ratio of male and female in the accommodation. Yeah, because when you first hear the word AI technology, you may think that it biased towards a certain gender, but no, it was intentionally designed and selected such that our ratio of male to female are quite equal in numbers because we believe in that. So when you first step into a Kaiser College, what are the other things that are specially thought about? I can share with you. So unlike a typical university class where you attend lecture, then maybe you go home, we believe in the value of living and learning together. It means a lot of ideas are shared, not just formally in class, but in and out of classrooms. It means when you're at the pantry, we're at the lounge, where you're at the dining hall, just brushing, into one another and exchanging short conversations, who knows? And then because you stay together for 2 years and some of them 4 years, you actually have this chance of encountering things and problems that you start asking whether technology and AI could help in solving them. So by mixing the technical people with other disciplines, we really give them this opportunity to understand. For example, when students from other disciplines think of it, wonder whether it could be done or solved by technology and AI, the technical people could actually help give a reality check. Or in case the technical side people have some interesting functions, programs, apps that they think is going to create an impact. Well, we have students from other disciplines, they'll share with them, oh, is it really necessary? Or whether is it really in demand? So this entire composition plus the living and learning experience would be awesome. And as I've mentioned just now as well, maybe I could even share this two or three other things which I thought are interesting. Just to, for example, to give you an idea of two or three courses apart from just now the global AI innovation. For example, we have this course at the year one called Artificial Truth. So what does it exactly teach? So interestingly, as I've mentioned, all our courses are interdisciplinary in nature, right? So what happened is after the primary school level, the secondary school level, and the junior colleges and polytechnics, I think a lot of our students are quite good academically, but we want to probe them further to say, hey, what actually defines truth? And then, of course, nowadays there are a lot of fake videos, right, fake news, etc. But this entire course covers various disciplines, starting from the philosophy of truth, such as the correspondence theory of truth, the coherence theory of truth, the pragmatic theory of truth, all the way to how mathematically or scientifically logical, how we convert conversations to logics, the computing way, the mathematical way of proving things, all the way then to more advanced levels of AI, digital trail forensics behind it to see whether what defines truth. And when we talk about in and out of classroom, oh, I must mention this. Unlike all the big lecture theaters, all our classes in a Kaiser College max at 20 students, so that there's a lot of engagement among students with the professors. And I want to mention that, for example, related to this class, then we'll actually bring students out, not only to the industry, but also to interesting things like, for example, all of us have heard about the lie detector test, right? So we expose them to the actual or rather we bring them to the actual organizations that adopt them, be it the enforcement division or organizations that help the legal sector verify whether someone is telling the truth. Um, then students start asking whether these so-called lie detectors is just psychological or it's actually very scientific and physiological even. So basically, you realize that our course try to really expose them to the entire range of disciplines and integrate the knowledge from them so that they'll be enlightened to see the world rather differently. And for artificial truth, they might even start challenging what is truth nowadays. Yeah, something along that line.
Amazing. You answered so many questions here. Just want to highlight or take you into that universities. So, how should universities balance teaching fundamentals versus preparing students for fast changing, unpredictable environments?
Ah, that's a very good question. Okay, so the other thing that I did very conscientiously, and I really do it to the surprise of a lot of people, was I was sharing with my colleagues and students where I plan or I propose what we should do in Casey College. Among them, okay, there are two things that I think will, I hope, enhance their global and forward-looking vision. So, for example, at the lobby, we have this TV that will display events and announcements, right? Do you know that I actually dedicate one television to display current world events and news that are highly related to technology and AI so that they are always updated. But of course, like many of the issues that are being raised, there may not be an exact right and wrong answer, but they are at least cognizant of what is happening around the world and what are the issues people are concerned about with regards to either technology or AI usage and how advanced certain countries or certain organizations are already in terms of technology and AI. So I hope that with that, their global vision gets widened and their general knowledge get enhanced. But not only that, within the NUS program, there are at least two things that help. Three programs, I should say. One is the Southeast Asia Friendship Initiative, whereby we'll bring students to Southeast Asia to learn from one another and to also share our understanding of technology and AI and how we could help one another. There's also another program known as STEER, STEER, which stands for Study, Trip, Engagement, and Enrichment. So with all these, we hope the students have a chance to venture into places that are very advanced in, let's say, technology such as Silicon Valley, or let's say in China, Shenzhen and Hangzhou, with a lot of robots in existence as well. So with all these, I hope that they are more forward-looking and they'll be amazed by how fast the world is advancing.
Amazing. And finally, for students watching right now, what are the most crucial skills they should focus on to stay relevant?
Hmm. Okay, maybe this is the three C's that I want and I hope or envision for my Acacia students when they leave. Um, that is curiosity, creativity, competence, and most important, compassion. So maybe I should say four C's. I repeat again, what I think most important or what I hope my students will leave Acacia with are four C's. Number one, curiosity. Next, creativity. Third, competence. And finally, compassion.
Amazing. This was incredible, but honestly, 30 minutes isn't nearly enough to get all the wisdom, ideas, and stories you have got. We have barely scratched the surface. But I think what really stood out in this conversation is how education is evolving from structured learning to environments that actually prepare students and for uncertainty, initiative, and real world problem solving. Dr. Hank, thank you so much for being part of this episode and for sharing your insights with us. And to everyone watching, if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out the upcoming sessions. Thank you very much, Dr. Hank, for being part of this
Thanks,
episode.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you.